Welcome to the first of our previews for Get Set for Workboat 2050, Series 5. I'm delighted to welcome Kerri Forster, who's the CEO of the Workboat Association. Kerri, hi.
Hi.
Now, you've got a very important event coming up on the 18th and 19th of November, not only for the Workboat Association, but also for the Get Set for Workboat 2050 series. Can you tell me more?
Yeah, sure. At the end of November, we'll be hosting our annual general meeting event, which takes place over 2 days. And we do it every year around the same time of year. It's where, notably as an association, we come to vote on association matters, but it's also a really important time to get together as many of the members' representatives as possible. It's a good chance for networking, but it's also a really good chance to talk about some of the serious issues that are affecting the industry. And the Get Set for 2050 series has been one of the products that has helped us to get the messages across as professionally and as good as possible. So yeah, we're looking forward to it a lot.
Can't believe that we're on Series 5, but we are, and we've had a whole series of valuable insights. Can you give us a little sneak preview of Session 1 of Series 5?
Certainly. So actually, we're looking back a bit over the last 5 years or 4 years now of what we've said before and where we've touched base. And so taking us back to COP26, which happened in 2021 in Glasgow, I can't believe it was that long ago. We spoke a little bit about environmental management plans. At the time, we were talking with such organisations as Acta Marine, Artemis Technologies, um, and we heard from leaders within those organisations talk to us about what had been implemented within them. Um, we had CCAT Services, Ian Bayliss, come and talk about the fact that he had had to sell his large pickup truck because the company said it wasn't within their environmental management plan, and he's taken to cycling to work. So we're coming back to look at that. We haven't since talked about the administrative side of decarbonisation. We haven't talked much about environmental management plans. We've been focusing more on technologies. So we want to remind people and discuss some of the highlight important points that knowing where you're going is to know where you've come from. And to have a plan of where you're going is one of the most important steps you need to take. So we're trying to ask people to look internally inside their companies and look at where are our energy usages? Where are we making carbon footprint the most? Where are our quick wins? Where can we install automatic light switches that will turn the lights off when you leave the room? Or can we change to a more renewable fuel source, for example? And that will all come to evidence in the plan. So we're going to be looking at this session particularly at the construction and the importance and the tools out there available for helping create and monitor and track an environmental management plan.
Yes, because good news is there are some tools, aren't there? Thank goodness.
There are definitely, yeah, it's not a case of having to collect all the information yourself. There are tools out there that will help you and slightly automate the process of creating data fields based on all of the information you need to be able to manage such a plan. So yeah, we're going to talk to some of those businesses and also talk to some experts about creating the plan itself.
I suppose the good news is that some people will already be quite advanced, some people may not even have started, and it's that ability to be able to network and to exchange views that's quite important as well, isn't it?
Definitely, definitely. We've tried to get together a group of people from a range of different size organisations to discuss the topic. Also within the audience and the membership at the event will be organisations of a range of different sizes, from large corporate businesses right down to maybe single vessel operators. And they've all got slightly different requirements and also different operational conditions. So some of our small organisations and vessel owners that I can think of possibly only work in one particular port. And so what they're going to be able to control and what they're going to have to manage could be quite a localised operation. Equally, we've got organisations which are the largest in their field, which are operating globally and moving country every month. So, the the practices they're going to have to implement and the management plan that they're going to have to create is going to be quite versatile, I think, and quite flexible also. So, yeah, definitely horses for courses, and hopefully we're going to talk about it all in the session.
Sounds fascinating. I'm delighted. Very much looking forward to it. Now we are, I was going to say slowly, inexorably moving towards 2050 and there's decarbonisation targets. There must be burning issues at the moment. What are you hearing from your membership?
Well, some of the things we're hearing about is who's going to go first. So we do have some vessel owners that have gone first and implemented some technology already. I would say with a broad brush, and I am speaking quite generically, many of those have only done it once. So we've seen, for example, some quite innovative hull shapes. Really, we've only seen one of build from many of those so far. We've seen some innovative drive chains. Again, we've seen them implemented on one vessel, but the owners haven't gone and then subsequently ordered another 4 vessels with the same drive chains. We've seen large battery units placed on vessels. We've seen hydrogen being used. We've got many different technologies that we've discussed over the last 5 years now on board vessels, but I would say they've never really committed to making a series of vessels of the same technology. And I think the main reason is because the industry sees a bit of a lack of leadership. The industry doesn't want to be used as the guinea pigs. In many senses, due to the size of the vessels, the technology to implement it on board is going to be relatively cheaper than compared to, say, large ocean-going cruise liners or cargo vessels. At the same time, due to the vessels working a close proximity to shore, often it's a good chance to test new technologies because it means that, if we have an incident, then the vessels should be able to get back to shore quite relatively safely. But it also means that we've got staff available to do slight changes, teething problems, settings changes, etc. In a reasonably small time frame to the vessel returning to shore. What we don't see, though, is any other stakeholder going first. And in particular, I think it would be interesting if we could see governments going first. And there are some countries that are adopting this principle. The Netherlands is one, Norway is another one, where they're simply saying, look, we as the government will invest in some of this technology first. We'll put it on board vessels in which we have quite a hands-on steer of. Maybe they're the contract owners, maybe they're directly contracting themselves, or maybe the government own the vessels. And what we see is, for example, if a government-owned, let's say, police vessel, which is always located in one harbour, installs electric outboards on their vessel, then the local service agent will go and train up somebody in their business to be able to repair, service and warranty electric outboards, because now they've got a business case. And then what happens is you'll notice that other harbour users will say, wow, have you seen those, the equipment that's on that police boat? It's really good stuff, and if the police are using the equipment, I'm sure it must be, quite reliable, you would hope. Let's go invest in some of that, because I know there's also a supply chain locally that I can possibly buy it from, but also get it serviced and repaired by. The issue we've got is in the private sector, by the emphasis being on the private sector to go first. Maybe the vessel that we're operating might be in that harbour for 6 months. But if that's potentially going to leave that harbour to go to another one in a different country even, for its next project, that's not really giving much of an incentive to that local supply chain to invest in that equipment. And it doesn't just affect the supply chain, it affects the ports and the harbours themselves. From what I've discussed, many of the ports around the world are ready and got, capital aside to invest in infrastructure. The problem is, what infrastructure are they going to invest in? Because they don't want to invest in the wrong infrastructure, and they don't want to do it twice.
Yeah.
So, that's some of the challenges we see today.
It's a game of chicken, really, isn't it?
It is.
Which is the road?
But a plan, I hope, will go a long way to helping that, because if we've got plans in writing, we can come together with local stakeholders and we can say, look, this is our plan.
Yes.
We can go into the local port or harbour office, we can talk to the local police force units, maybe fisheries patrols, maybe it's customs, maybe it's local, I don't know, search and rescue organisations, and say, look, this is our plan. What's yours? Let's put our cards on the table, because maybe we're all looking at the same direction. Maybe there's a few things we need to steer slightly, but if we're all looking in the same direction, or generally in the right direction, we can all start actually committing to some of this stuff. So I think the environmental management plan is a really, really powerful piece of tools, really. But it only starts with us first looking internally and saying, where's our energy usage?
Yeah. Start from the bottom, work up.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Sounds like a plan to use.
Sounds like a plan.
Terrible pun, but excellent. Well, I'm so looking forward to it. That's on the 18th and 19th of November, isn't it?
That's correct.
And the location for your AGM and the Get Set for Workboat 2050 Series 5 Session 1?
Yeah, a bit of a mouthful. It will be at Alton Hall in Leeds.
Lovely. Okay, look forward to seeing you then, and I'm sure it'll go extremely well. Thank you very much indeed for joining me.
Thanks for having me.